first thing is that I'm going to remind you that you're going to be breathing at your own pace with your own comfort throughout the class. You're going to hear me cueing some of your breath to start some of the movements. When you hear me give that cue, I'd like you to try to match your breath to that cueing, but from there, you'll continue to breathe at your own pace. So again, you might hear me say, when you're ready, start this movement with an inhale. You're going to try to do your inhale then. But as soon as you're ready to exhale, you will exhale and you will inhale again. You will continue to breathe smoothly at your own pace. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. The next thing I'd like you to pay attention to this morning while we're doing these movements is what you're feeling when you're doing the movements, really paying attention, especially to the release of the contractions. If you notice any like bumpiness or jerkiness within that release, if you're unable to control the pace of that release, so if you are releasing fairly slowly and then all of a sudden you go a little bit faster and then a little bit slow again, these are the things I want you to pay attention for and try to regain control of. Try to move slower and smaller, and that'll help to bring more awareness to those spots and it'll help you to regain control. The slower we move, the more you're going to perceive. And when we're moving slowly, we're moving out of our motor cortex, which is exactly the part of the brain that we want to engage when we're doing somatic exercises. If you move too quickly, you're not going to be engaging that motor cortex.
Hey, friend.
Yeah.
Great to see you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us from Colorado. Are you still in Colorado?
I am.
You are. It doesn't
Yeah.
look like you're in the forest, though. I'm a bit sad.
I'm sad about it too.
I thought you'd be calling me from like your little mushroom
I'll do that
toadstool
next
house.
time.
You're like laying in front of your little mushroom toadstool house in Colorado.
I love it.
Glad
Oh,
you're here. We're just starting, so everybody's just sort of getting cozy, and I'm just kind of explaining a few of our basic concepts. Tim is a colleague of mine. He was in the same wave of training with me in Novato, so he is also a somatic educator. Thanks for joining, Tim. All right, so back to these sort of bumpy, jerky movements that you might feel. We call that SMA or sensory motor amnesia. Sometimes you'll also hear me refer to it as the SMOS. So you're going to be really paying attention for if you're feeling that within your body. And notice how each repetition, hopefully it's going to start to smooth out just a little bit more each time. The next thing is, so we've talked about our breathing. You're going to continue to breathe comfortably at your own pace, trying to match your breath with my first cue, but from there you will continue to breathe. We've talked about paying attention to moving slowly and what you're feeling in those movements. And the next thing is, this is most important, stay in comfort. If anything feels uncomfortable to you at all, you're just going to do it in your imagination. You can try doing the movements smaller, 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 slower, 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 but if it's uncomfortable, keep your eyes closed and just do it in your imagination. So we're always staying in comfort when we're doing these movements, never forcing anything, never pushing to the edge or any of those words that you might hear. Don't do that. Stay in comfort. Okay, so we're going to start with that Soma scan. So laying on the floor with your legs long. Again, if you're really uncomfortable laying with your legs long, if your low back is too uncomfortable, please do place a pillow under your knees or bend your knees. But take just that moment to notice where the discomfort is in your low back, and then go ahead and place a pillow or bend your knees. We're going to start by bringing our awareness to our breath. So breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your nose or your mouth, whichever feels most comfortable for you today. And notice what you're feeling with your breath. Can you feel your belly rise as you inhale? Can you feel it relaxing back down to the floor as you exhale? Does your breathing feel easeful, or does it perhaps feel a bit constricted or tight this morning? Are you noticing any discomfort or tension anywhere in your soma as you're breathing deeply? Just really noticing what you're feeling in your body with your breath. Next, I'd like you to bring your awareness to your head and your neck and notice how your head feels on the floor or on your pillow if you have a pillow under your head. Just notice if your head feels heavy or light. Notice if it feels tilted or pulled more to one side than the other. Are you noticing any tension or tightness or discomfort anywhere in your head, your neck, your face, your jaw? Just taking note of anything that you're feeling or sensing here. With your next breath, bring your awareness now to your chest, your shoulders, and your upper back. What are you feeling here as you take your breath? Does your chest feel open and relaxed, or does it perhaps feel tight or constricted? Does one shoulder feel more lifted off the floor than the other? Can you feel your shoulder blades on the floor, and do they feel even? And if not, what is it? What are you noticing that makes them feel uneven? Is one heavier? Is one lighter? Is one more lifted off the floor? One heavier to the floor? However you feel in your body to describe this, lock it in. Notice what you're feeling. Notice how you have your arms and your hands placed. Notice how they feel. Are you noticing any tension or discomfort anywhere in your shoulders, your arms, your hands? Coming back to your torso with your next breath, bring your awareness to your mid, back, and belly. And what are you feeling here? Can you feel the natural movement of your body happening with your breath? Does it feel comfortable? Bring your awareness next to your low back, your pelvis, and your low belly. What are you noticing and feeling here? Are you comfortable laying with your legs long? Are your knees bent? Did you place a pillow under your knees? Does your low back feel tense or tight? Does it feel lifted off of the floor? Does it feel tighter to one side than the other? What are you noticing in your pelvis? Does one side of your pelvis feel heavier than the other? Are you noticing any tension or discomfort? What about your legs? Does one leg feel longer than the other or more turned out or in than the other? Take note of anything that you're feeling and noticing in your low back, your pelvis, your belly, your legs, all the way down to your feet. We'll be starting this morning with some rocking of the pelvis. We'll be doing some tilting and flattening. So when you're ready, go ahead and bend your knees now. Bring your feet flat to the floor. Allow your arms to just stay wherever they feel comfortable. We're going to start with tilting of the pelvis this morning. We'll be doing this on an inhale. So when you're ready, inhale and tilt your pelvis forward from the top, gently pressing your tailbone down to the floor. Bring your awareness into your back, and as you exhale, slowly begin to release now. Releasing your pelvis and your low back as slow as you can. Continue to breathe. Slowly melting back to neutral. And when you're in neutral, rest. We're going to repeat that again, and I'm going to encourage you to try to go even slower this time on that release. So when you're ready, inhale and tilt again, pelvis rolling forward from the top, tailbone gently presses down. Exhale, slowly release anything that you've contracted as you slowly melt back to neutral. And when you're back to neutral, you'll rest. And let's repeat that one more time. Remember to stay in comfort. If this is hurting you at all, you're going to make the movement much, much smaller. When you're ready, inhale and tilt. Belly button rises as your pelvis rolls forward from the top. Bring your awareness into your back, and as you exhale, slow as you can and as smooth as you can, release and allow your back to float back down to the floor. Slowly softening back to neutral. And when you're back to neutral, rest. Good. We're going to move next now to the front of your body, and then we're going to put these two movements together. So the next movement is called flatten, and we're going to be doing this on an exhale. So your knees are going to stay bent, your feet are still flat on the floor, and your arms are resting beside you. When you're ready, go ahead and inhale to get to an exhale. And as you exhale, flatten your back down to the floor, engaging your abdominals. Think of bringing your pubic bone up and your ribs down. Bring your awareness into your belly, and as you inhale, slow as you can, melt in your belly, slowly allowing your ribs and your pelvis to melt away from each other. Slowly softening back to neutral. And when you're back to neutral, rest. Good, let's do that one again. When you're ready, inhale to find your exhale. As you exhale, flatten your back down to the floor. Bring your ribs down and your pubic bone upwards as you engage your abdominals. Bring your awareness to your belly. And now as you inhale, slowly soften everything you've contracted as slow and smooth as you can, continuing to breathe. Slowly softening back to neutral. And when you're back to neutral, rest. Good. Let's do that one more time. When you're ready, inhale to find your exhale. Exhale, flatten your back down to the floor, engaging your abdominal muscles. Bring your awareness to your belly now. As you inhale, slowly soften. Slow, controlled release as you come back to neutral. And when you're back to neutral, you'll rest. Good. We're going to put these two movements together now. But before we do, I just want you to imagine this tilt in your mind's eye. What I'd like you to do on the next tilt, and we're going to imagine it right now, is as you inhale, think of lifting your belly button upward toward the ceiling first. And as your belly button begins to lift, you're going to allow your pelvis to roll forward from the top. Okay? You're ready. Inhale, belly button rises, pelvis rolls forward from the top, your tailbone gently pressing down. Bring your awareness into your back, and as you exhale, slowly begin to release in your pelvis. Slow, controlled release, still breathing. And now on your next exhale, you're going to go into your flatten. So when you're ready, you'll move right through neutral and exhale. Flatten your back down to the floor. Bring your ribs and the front of your hips towards each other. And as you inhale, slowly release. Slowly softening in your belly. Slowly coming back to neutral. And rest. Good, and we're going to do that one more time. So we're flowing between that tilt and flatten. So when you're ready, starting again with the inhale, inhale and tilt, belly button rises, pelvis gently rolling forward from the top. Exhale, slowly begin to release the tilt in your back. Inhaling again when you need to. And moving through neutral. On your next exhale, flattening your back down to the floor, bringing your pubic bone up and your ribs down. And as you inhale, slowly release in your belly. Continue to breathe as you continue to release, trying to release and breathe slowly with control. When you're back to neutral, take a rest. Good. We're going to move next into what I call look over the shoulder exercise. So when you're ready, you're slowly going to roll over onto your belly. And once you've rolled onto your belly, you're going to bring your right hand up. Allow your left arm to be either long beside you or straight out to the side, whichever feels best for you. And you're going to turn your head so that you're looking towards that right elbow, resting your left cheek on the back of your right hand. And we're going to start this movement today with just lifting our head first. So when you're ready, inhale and gently lift your head as you sort of look over that shoulder. Notice what's engaging in your back. And now slowly lower your head as you exhale, and you're going to continue to breathe, slowly letting your head soften back down. If you still have a pillow there, maybe if you can, try moving the pillow out of the way and make sure you're comfortable and allow your head to just rest on your hand. This time, keeping your head on the floor, I'd like you to lift just your elbow. So your hand will stay on the floor, your head will stay on the floor. Lift just your elbow. Notice what happens to your right shoulder blade as you lift that right elbow up towards the ceiling. And now, slow as you can, begin to melt that elbow back down, working for this movement to be slow and smooth. When your elbow is back down to the floor, you're going to take a moment of rest. And now I want you to imagine that I've crazy glued your cheek to the back of your hand. This time, don't do it yet. I want you to imagine it first. This time, when you inhale, you'll be lifting your head, your chest, your hand, because remember your hand is glued to your face now. And you're going to rotate in your upper torso slightly towards the right so that your right elbow can come up to the ceiling. So when you're ready, inhale, gently lift and rotate that torso, lifting your head, your hand, and your elbow, only as far as you can comfortably, and then slowly melt back to neutral. Continue to breathe comfortably as you slowly soften back down. When you're back to neutral, rest. Good. I can see some of you are really taking your time. While we have just a moment of rest here, I'm going to describe to you what you'll be doing next. We're adding another piece. The upper body will be doing the same movement. At the same time, though, this time you're going to lengthen and lift your opposite or left leg. It's only going to lift just a couple of inches. It does not need to lift high. Remember to stay in comfort. So when you're ready, go ahead and inhale now and lift your head, your chest, your elbow, your opposite leg, turning that elbow as you rotate your torso. And as you exhale, slowly softening everything back to neutral. Go as slow and smooth as you can, challenging yourself to go slower and smoother. When you're back to neutral, rest. Good. We're going to repeat that full movement again, but this time I'm going to invite you all to do the movement 50% smaller when you lift. So when you're ready, go ahead, inhale and lift only 50% as high as you did on the last one. So much smaller movement this time. And now as you exhale, begin to soften. Take just as long to release as you did on the bigger movement. So you got to go really slow this time. Super slow, softening back to neutral. When you're back to neutral, rest. You're going to repeat this on the opposite side. So once you've had a moment of rest, slowly turning your head to the left, bringing your right arm down long beside you or out to the side, turning your head to the left and resting your right cheek now on the back of your left hand. And just notice right away, you probably already did notice that turning your head to one side probably felt a little easier or more comfortable to you than the other. These are all things you just want to take note of as they're happening. So when you're ready, lifting just your head, your hand stays down, lift just your head, gently look over that shoulder, and then slowly let your head melt back to neutral. Take a moment of rest. This time, you're going to leave your head and your hand on the floor, lifting just your elbow. When you're ready, go ahead and lift just your elbow up. Notice how that shoulder blade starts to retract towards your spine, and then slowly soften, lengthening in your back, letting that elbow soften to the floor. And take a moment of rest. Now I want you to imagine that I've crazy glued your cheek to the back of that hand, and this time you're going to lift your head, hand, and elbow. So when you're ready, inhale, lift and rotate your upper torso as you turn that elbow slightly to the ceiling. And now as you exhale, slow as you can, soften back to neutral. Take your time, continue to breathe. And when you're back to neutral, you'll rest. After a moment of rest, we're going to add lifting of that opposite leg. So it'll be your right leg this time. And again, I'll remind you that you don't need to lift high for this movement to be effective. When you're ready, inhale and lift your head, chest, and elbow, lengthening and lifting that opposite leg, turning your elbow slightly towards the sky. And as you exhale, slowly softening everything back down. Paying attention to what you're feeling in this release. Are you releasing your leg and your upper body at the same time? Are you noticing maybe that you're softening in your upper body, then softening in the leg? Try to smooth this movement out and coordinate it so that you're softening everything. When you're back to neutral, make sure to rest. Good, let's repeat that one again, but this time I'm going to invite you to do the movement only 50% as big as you did the last one. So when you're ready, inhale, gently lift your head, chest, elbow, and opposite leg, turning your elbow slightly to the sky, remembering only to go half as high. And now as you release, take just as long. Continue to breathe. Slowly softening back to neutral. As slow and smooth as you can. And when you've returned to neutral, rest. Then I'd like you to bring your right hand up and slowly turn your head to center, resting your forehead on the back of both hands. And we're just going to do one peekaboo exercise here. So this time, keep your elbows and your hands on the floor. And when you're ready, inhale and gently lift your head and chest. Just a small lift as you tilt your head upward, only going as far as feels comfortable, and then slow and smooth, you'll lower your head, paying attention. And if you feel any big bumps or jerks as you're lowering your head down, I'd like you to pause and recontract by lifting your head up a little bit again, and then slowly softening again. And when you're back to neutral, you'll rest. We're going to be moving next. Continue softening if you are still. Don't rush. Continue your movement. The next one we're going to be doing is called elbow to opposite knee. We'll be doing this on our back. So once you've had a moment of rest, you can slowly roll over onto your back again. And you're going to bring your knees to that bent position with your feet flat on the floor. And then I'd like you to bring your right hand behind your head. Your left arm can stay long beside you. And we'll be doing this movement on an exhale. So when you're ready, go ahead and inhale to get to your exhale. As you exhale, flatten your back down to the floor, bringing those ribs and the front of your hips towards each other. And now gently lift your head and chest. Bring your right elbow and your left knee towards each other. So you're lifting your left foot, lifting head and chest, bringing them towards each other, and then slowly releasing as you continue to breathe deeply. Try to slowly lower your foot and your head at the same time. When your head and your foot are resting, slowly opening your elbow. And when you're back to neutral, you'll rest. Good, and let's repeat that one again. So when you're ready, inhale to find your exhale. Exhale, flatten your back down to the floor. Gently lift your head and chest, bring that opposite elbow and knee toward each other. Bring your awareness into your belly, and as you breathe in now, slowly begin to release. So breathing in deeply, slowly melting in your abdominals, and then taking another inhale and exhale when you need to. Continue to breathe as you release. When you're back to neutral, rest. Good, and after that moment of rest, let's do one more on this side. So again, when you're ready, inhale to get to that exhale. As you exhale, flatten your back down to the floor, lift your head and chest, bring that opposite elbow and knee toward each other. Notice if you're coming a little bit closer together with more ease now. As you inhale, slowly begin to release, challenging yourself to go slower, smoother, staying in control of this movement. And when you're back to neutral, you'll rest. Once you've had a moment of rest, we'll be switching to the opposite side. So taking your time, you'll bring your left hand up, the right down. And just take a moment to notice if you're feeling any differences from side to side of your body, your soma. All right, we'll be doing this again on an exhale. So when you're ready, inhale to get to that exhale. Exhale, flatten your back down to the floor. Gently lift your head and chest, bring that opposite elbow and knee towards each other. Slowly releasing as you inhale and exhale, still releasing, still breathing. Slowly melting back to neutral. When your head and foot are resting, slowly opening your elbow, really paying attention to what you're feeling in this release, noticing how smooth and controlled you can do it. Taking a moment of rest, when you're back in neutral. Let's repeat that one again. When you're ready, inhale to get to that exhale. Exhale, flatten your back down to the floor. Gently lift your head and chest. Remember to tuck those ribs down and bring that pubic bone upward. Lift your head and chest. Opposite elbow and knee come towards each other. And as you inhale, slowly begin to release. Continue to breathe as you slowly soften to when you're back to neutral, rest. And then one last time on this side when you're ready, inhale again to find that exhale. Exhale, flatten that back down to the floor, tucking your ribs down, pubic bone up. Bring that opposite elbow and knee towards each other. As you inhale, slowly begin to release. As slow and smooth as you can. Really paying attention if you're noticing that if you're lowering your head a little bit and then your foot, um, or maybe you're moving them together, but you're moving slowly and then there's a little bump, or maybe you start to go faster. Try to gain control and smooth it out. When you're back to neutral, rest. Good. We're going to be moving next into a side laying exercise. This one is called armpit to hip. So when you're ready, you're going to roll onto your left side so that your right side is facing up to the ceiling. And I want you to imagine that you are sitting in a wooden, super tall chair. It's so tall it goes up past the top of your head. And then someone just tipped you on your side. So your knees will be straight out from your hips. Your feet will be straight down from your knees. Your tailbone, your shoulders, and the back of your head should be in a nice line. You can rest your head on your bottom arm and or a pillow. You can use both if you need to. And then I'd like you to bring your top arm up over your head to cradle your head. So your hand will sort of wrap around the top of your head. And do make sure that you are as much on your side as you can be comfortably. So if you notice that you're sort of laying like half on your back, try to rotate so that your shoulders, as long as it's comfortable, maybe you need a bigger pillow under your arm, but try to rotate so that your shoulders are stacked. So your top shoulder is above your bottom shoulder. All right. For this movement, we'll be lifting your upper body and your lower body. Your knees are going to stay together. You'll be lifting your top foot and your head and chest. We're going to do this on an inhale to start, but some people prefer to do it on an exhale. So I'm going to have you do the first one on an inhale, the second one on an exhale, and the third one you can do whatever breath feels best for you. So when you're ready, inhale, gently lift your head and chest at the same time lifting your top foot, your knees stay together. You're thinking of bringing your your armpit and your hip on your top side towards each other, like a little side crunch. Then slow as you can, begin to lower your foot and your head. Slowly softening in your side, slowly coming back to neutral. When you're back to neutral, you're going to take a moment of rest. And then we're going to repeat that one again when you're ready, this time on an exhale. So find it, exhale, and gently lift your head and chest, lifting your top foot, your knees stay together as you sort of rotate your top thigh downward towards the floor, gently squeezing your hip and armpit on the top. Then slow as you can, continuing to breathe, lower your head and your foot, slowly allowing your ribs and your hips on that top side to melt and lengthen away from each other. When you're back to neutral, you'll rest. And just lower your top arm for just a moment to rest. We're going to do one more, but I just want to talk to you guys about what I call the last step in the dark. Sometimes when we're in that release of the contraction, and this is a good example of it, is you think that your foot, your top foot is all the way down to the bottom, and then all of a sudden it sort of drops the rest of the way. I call that the last step in the dark. I'm sure you've all done this where you're coming down the stairs, you think you're on the last step because it's dark, but there's one more step and you kind of fall down that last step. That's what's happening in this movement for some of you. So on this last one, I want you to really pay attention to the last little piece of the journey, that last piece of the release. And if you notice that you are dropping down into the end of the movement, you're going to lift your foot up just a tiny bit, just up into that last step, and then slowly release it again. So go ahead and bring your top arm back up over your head. This time you're going to choose whichever breath works best for you. When you're ready, go ahead and lift your head and chest, rotating your top thigh, lifting the top foot, gently squeezing your hip and armpit towards each other. And when you're ready, slowly begin to release, continuing to breathe, challenging yourself to go as slow and smooth as you can. Good, and I see that some of you are taking the time to recontract when you feel those smas happening. Thank you. Excellent. When you're back to neutral, rest. Then I'd like you to slowly lengthen your top leg. Slowly lengthen your top arm if you have room to do it. Notice the length in this top side. Slowly roll onto your back now and allow your legs to be long. And we're just going to take a moment for sensing here. So taking a couple of nice deep breaths with those legs long. Do you notice a difference from side to side? Does the right side of your waist feel longer and softer? Do you feel your breath moving more easily into the right side of your belly and waist? Does your right leg maybe feel longer than your left? Does the right side of your pelvis feel more settled to the floor? Just taking note of any differences that you're noticing from side to side. And then when you're ready, you'll slowly roll onto that right side so that the left is facing up to the ceiling. Again, imagining that you're in that tall wooden chair that's been tipped onto its side. Your knees will be straight out from your hips, your feet straight down from your knees, resting your head on your bottom arm and or a pillow. I quite often use both, so whichever feels best for you. Remember, you're going to stay in comfort. And then you're going to bring your top arm up over your head to cradle your head. And since you've already experimented with the breath on the opposite side, sometimes it can change, but I'm going to just allow you to breathe in whichever way feels most comfortable for you. I'm not going to cue the breath, or at least I think I'm not going to. Sometimes I just throw it in, so you never know. So when you're ready, go ahead and lift your head and chest and that top foot, knees stay together, gently squeezing your hip and armpit towards each other. Bring your awareness into your top side, and as you release now, pay attention to what you're feeling. Make it as slow and smooth as you can. If you notice any big bumps or jerks, take a moment to pause, recontract, and then slowly begin to soften again. When you're back to neutral, rest. And let's repeat that one again. When you're ready, go ahead and lift your head and chest and your top foot, gently squeezing your hip and armpit towards each other. And then as slow and smooth as you can, still breathing comfortably, slowly begin to release. Slowly allowing your ribs and your hips on that top side to melt away from each other. And when you're back to neutral, you'll rest. And then one last time on this side, when you're ready, with whichever breath feels best for you, gently lift your head and chest in that top foot, squeezing your hip and armpit towards each other. And as slow and smooth as you can, begin to release. Notice if this movement has smoothed out now on this third repetition. Does it feel smoother? Does it feel more easeful? When you're back to neutral, rest. And slowly you're going to lengthen that top arm, lengthen your top leg. Take a moment to notice the length in this side. Then slowly you'll roll onto your back again. We'll take another moment for sensing. And as you take a nice deep breath, just notice if you feel the same kind of softness and lengthening on both sides of your waist now. Do you feel more balanced and even in your pelvis and in your legs? Do you feel taller? Just taking note of anything that's changed. We're going to be moving next into the wash rag, but I'd like to do one arch and curl before we go into the wash rag. So when you're ready, go ahead and bend your knees again, bring your feet flat to the floor. And then bring your hands behind your head as long as you can comfortably. So this is going to be just like the tilting and flattening we did at the beginning of this class, only this will be the bigger version of that movement. So when you're ready, inhale, allow your belly button to rise, your pelvis to roll forward from the top so your tailbone gently presses down. Gently press your shoulder blades to the floor as well. And then exhale, slowly begin to release, slowly softening everything you've contracted. Keep breathing, inhaling when you need to. And on your next exhale, flatten your back down to the floor. Bring the ribs and hips towards each other. Bring your elbows together or towards each other and gently lift your head and chest, coming into a soft curl. Bring your awareness to your belly. And now as you inhale, slowly begin to lower your head. As slow as you can, pay attention to what you're feeling in your belly as you slowly soften. When your head is resting, slowly open your elbows. This is a very common spot for people to find some smas. So if you're opening those elbows and you feel any of that jumpy jerkiness happening, take a moment to pause, recontract, release again. When you're back to neutral, make sure to rest. Good, we're gonna move next into this wash rag. So you're gonna keep your knees and feet how they are. Bring your arms out beside you so that they're straight out from your shoulders like the letter T. Hopefully you have room for your arms to do that. For the wash rag movement, I like to start with the upper body first. So when you're ready, begin to slowly rotate your right palm up to the ceiling, your left palm down to the floor. Slowly turn your slowly turn your head to the right so that you're looking towards the palm that is open. If your eyes are open, by the way, they don't have to be. Quite often, our eyes are closed when we're doing somatic exercises. Gently press into your right thumb. and over rotate your arm if you can. So as you press into that right thumb, maybe you notice that your right pinky and that side of your hand lifts just a little bit. And notice what's happening in your shoulder blade as you over rotate that right arm, again, only if it feels comfortable. Notice how your shoulder blade is pressing to the floor and drawing downward. At the same time now, gently press into your left thumb, over rotating it forward if it feels comfortable. Notice now that your left shoulder blade has lifted and rolled sort of up off of the floor as that left shoulder rolls up and over. Slowly begin to reverse this movement now, and at the same time, you're going to slowly begin to turn your head. So slowly rotating the right palm down as the left rolls up. Your head is slowly rolling to the left. You're rolling your arms from your shoulder. Your entire arm is rolling like a rolling pin. And again, once you've gotten into this position, if it feels comfortable to over rotate a little bit, go ahead and do that, gently pressing into your thumbs to help you to rotate just a little more, lifting your right shoulder upward now and gently pulling that left one down if it feels comfortable. Slowly begin to reverse again. Slowly rotating now the left arm downward as the right rolls up. Your head is slowly rolling to the right. This time, once you've turned to the right, I'd like you to pause. We're going to add the lower body into this movement now. Your knees are going to begin to drift now to the right as you begin to turn your head to the left and rotate those arms so that the left will be facing up. So when you're ready, go ahead, begin to allow your knees to drift to the right, turning your head slowly left. Left arm is turning up, right is turning down. Allow your pelvis to lift and roll and rotate. Do not try to keep any part of your pelvis plastered to the floor. Allow it to rotate. Notice the length in your back as you allow your pelvis to roll. Slowly reversing to the opposite side when you're ready, and use the momentum of your pelvis roll to help you with your legs as you bring them towards the left now. Slowly rotating your right arm up, your left arm down. I also like to move my feet when I'm doing this movement. So as I'm drifting my knees to the left, I will actually walk my feet to the right a little bit. Maybe you want to experiment with your feet being further apart or closer together. Slowly reverse this movement again, and I'd like you to continue at your own pace, twisting gently, staying in comfort. Remember, you're only going as far as you can comfortably. Do not force anything. As you slowly and smoothly begin to and continue to twist and wring yourself out like a wash rag, I'd like you to also focus on breathing consistently and deeply. Experiment with where your feet are. Maybe you want to try moving your feet closer or further away from your pelvis. If you've been doing every one of these so far with your feet right together, maybe try one with your feet a little further apart. See if it feels more comfortable. Make this movement as comfortable as you can. Do what you need to do for your soma to enjoy this movement. Notice how it becomes more and more delicious the more and more that you twist and turn, rotating slowly, staying in comfort, being curious with this movement, being curious about how you can make it feel the best that you can make it feel for your soma, for your body. And when you finish the one that you're on, you'll slowly come back to neutral. And we're going to be moving back into our arch and curl. So when you're ready, you're going to bring your hands behind your head again. Your knees are still bent, your feet flat on the floor. And we're going to start again with that arch on an inhale. So when you're ready, inhale and arch. Your belly button will rise, your pelvis rolling forward from the top, gently pressing your tailbone and your shoulder blades to the floor. And this time, draw your shoulder blades down towards the back of your hips. As you exhale, slowly release, slowly allowing your shoulder blades and your pelvis to lengthen and melt away from each other. Continue to breathe. And on your next exhale, you'll go into your flatten, bringing your pubic bone and your ribs towards each other, bringing your elbows towards each other, gently lifting your head and chest into that soft curl. Bringing your awareness to the front of your body now as you inhale, slow as you can. Begin to lower your head as you release in your abdominals, slowly releasing anything that you've noticed that you've contracted. Quite often, people will tell me that they might notice their glutes engaging when they do this movement. So whatever you're noticing that you've engaged, you're going to slowly release. And as those elbows open, pay attention to what you're feeling in your chest. Can you smooth this movement out? When you're back to neutral, rest. And we're going to repeat that again. When you're ready, inhale and arch, belly button rises, pelvis rolling forward. Press your shoulder blades down and draw them down towards the back of your hips. Exhale, slowly release. As slow as you can. You're almost done this class, so really challenging yourself to go as slow and smooth as you can. Continuing to breathe. Moving through neutral. On your next exhale, you're going to flatten your back down to the floor. Bring your elbows towards each other, gently lifting your head and chest into that curl. And as you inhale deeply, begin to release. Continue to breathe deeply and smoothly, trying to match your breath with your movement, meaning that you're breathing smoothly and you're releasing. If you notice that you're pausing in your movement to take your breath, then that's your next challenge. Can you continue to move and breathe at the same time? Slowly melting your elbows. When you've returned to neutral, I'd like you to take a rest, and then you're going to repeat this flow between arch and curl one more time at your own pace. Taking the time to notice if things are smoothing out. Notice if you're breathing and moving together. I can see some of you are recontracting in a few places when you need to. That's excellent. Really smoothing this out. Staying in control. I'm sure some of you have heard me say this before. I like to imagine when I'm doing my release, I think of it as fading out a song. So I'm sure you all know I am a dance teacher. And if you've ever had a dancer on stage and you have to manually fade their song out, you've got to turn that volume down slow and smooth. You can't be all but. So as slow and smooth as you can. Once you've finished this last one and you've taken a rest, you'll slowly bring your arms out from behind your head. Keeping your legs bent for a moment though, we're going to do just a little psoas release to come back into our Soma scan position. So when you're ready, I'd like you to inhale and tilt your pelvis again, not a big arch, just a tilt. So your belly button will rise, pelvis rolling forward from the top. And now as you exhale, begin to release that tilt. At the same time, slowly lengthen your right leg. So releasing the tilt and slowly releasing and lengthening your right leg. When that right leg is long, you'll rest. Keeping that right leg rested, we're going to do the same thing now with the left. So when you're ready, inhale and tilt that pelvis again, belly button rises. And as you exhale, release the tilt at the same time, slowly lengthening your left leg. When your legs are long, take a moment of rest, and we're just going to do one more little one on each side. This time, coming back to that right leg, I'd like you to let me describe it first. I want you to imagine it in your mind's eye first. You're going to be bending your right knee slightly, but you're really going to focus on using the front of your right hip flexor. It's a very small movement. The knee will bend just a little bit, and then you'll slowly soften it. So actually, take your right hand and bring it up to your hip flexor area. And then when you're ready, go ahead and bend that right knee just a little bit, lifting it upwards, pulling it up with your hip flexor. And then slow as you can, slowly, slowly soften in that hip flexor and let that knee soften back down. And then make sure to rest. And let's repeat one of those on the left side. So bringing your left hand up to that hip flexor, bending your left knee now just a little bit, pulling that knee upward, just a slight engagement here in the hip flexor, and then slowly soften. Slow, 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 soften and rest. And then just allow your hands and arms to rest. And let's bring our awareness back to our breath. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your nose or your mouth, whichever feels most comfortable. I love to do a couple of nice loud mouth exhales at the end of class. I'm that obnoxious person that likes to do that at the end. So please feel free. You're all muted anyways, so no one can hear you. Try to remember how your breathing felt when you first laid on the floor today. What's changed? Does your breathing feel more easeful and comfortable to you now? Do you feel more movement happening in your body with your breath? And does it feel more comfortable? Are you breathing deeper? Are you breathing in more comfort? Are you breathing slower? Bring your awareness now to your head and your neck. Try to remember how your head felt when you first laid down. Maybe you had a pillow under your head. Are you more comfortable laying without that pillow now? Does your head feel more relaxed? Does it feel lighter to the floor? Were you noticing any discomfort or tension anywhere in your head, your neck, your face, your jaw? What are you feeling here now? Bring your awareness next to your chest, your shoulders, your upper back. What were you feeling here earlier this morning, and what are you feeling here now? Does your chest feel more open and relaxed? Do your shoulders feel more settled to the floor? Your blades feel more even on the floor? What's changed? Try to remember your arms and your hands, how they felt and how they were placed. Has it changed? Are they in a different position? Do they feel different? Do you feel more of a sense of balance and evenness from side to side of your shoulders and your arms? With your next breath, bring your awareness to your mid, back, and belly. What are you noticing here? Do you feel more movement happening with your breath now, and does it feel more comfortable? Moving down to your low back and your pelvis. Are you more comfortable laying with your legs long now? Does your low back feel more relaxed and settled to the floor? What were you noticing from side to side in your pelvis when you first laid down this morning? Do you feel more balanced and even now? What were you noticing in your legs? Did one leg feel longer or heavier or more turned in or out? Do you feel more balanced and even? Take note of anything that's changed, anything that you're feeling, moving all the way down through your knees, calves, ankles, and feet. I like to finish all my classes with a little ode to my mentors and instructors. So you can either repeat this out loud or repeat it in your head if you want. My soma is relaxing. My soma is relaxed. And when you're ready, without rushing, you'll slowly roll to your side and come up to sitting. Unless you've decided that you're going to take a nap now, which of course you can do because you're all in your own space and maybe that's what you need. Honor your soma. We are going to have a little bit of time for questions and feedback. So do feel free to stay and join us for that. Or to just log out or have your nap. How you feel, Des? You're muted, so you'll have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you. That was exactly what I needed. You have no idea. It's like so crazy because when you said that one side, I was like, wow, it felt like lengthened and wow, it's crazy.
Isn't it crazy? I love that part. It's my favorite because, yeah, like we only did 3 armpit to hip exercises on that side. And it just like really, I think, solidifies for people like, wow, this really works. Like I only have to do a few repetitions of this really slow, gentle movement, and I can make a really big, big difference in my body.
Right? Where are you?
So I'm in my workout/treatment room.
Oh, I love it.
Thanks. This is where I hide in the winter. So it's all my beach stuff in here.
Looks like
I
I
was
was
gonna
gonna
go
say,
outside, but it looked a little chilly. But now that I'm in here looking out the window, I'm like, I kind of wish I would have went outside. It actually looks nice now.
I know.
Did you notice a big difference from your first Soma scan to the second one? Like
Yeah,
to the end?
yeah,
Yeah.
big
Awesome.
time. Big time.
Awesome. Thanks, Des.
No,
Joe, how
thank
about
you.
you? And by the way, thanks for joining us all the way from Australia. What time is it there? Oh, you're muted. We're all in anticipation now, waiting to hear the Australian accent. Joe, what's the matter? Oh no, she can't unmute. Let's see if I click ask to unmute, does that help?
Well, that bloody hell, you couldn't hear me swearing and cursing then. Sorry. Talk
Oh my
about
God, we would have loved that. Swearing with an
very
Australian.
unladylike. I don't know what time it is. About 1:30 in the morning. So I'm going to bed in a moment.
It's 1:30 a.m.
Yes.
Are you
Yes.
like, do you normally stay up that late? Or
No, not normally. If there's something online that I want to do, I'll either stay up or get up. Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to experience one of your classes. It was just lovely. Thank you. And I think just what I needed before bed. My lower back was screaming today. So getting on the floor, and I must have been, raised so high up, and to have that ease at the end of it was marvelous. But the wash rag, I'm trying to remember how you had cued it. I really liked the way you guided us, one palm up, one palm down. something that you said about pressing into the thumbs and then over efforting a little bit. I can't remember your exact wording, so that you'd roll that little bit more. That was really cute. I liked that.
Yeah,
The way that you used that. But yeah, lovely class. And I must apologize. PayPal wasn't working for me. I don't know if you got 2 or 3 registrations from me, but I was
did
trying to.
actually, and I thought there must have been something funny going on, because I think Des, I got 2 registrations from. I think there were 3 of you that came in, like,
Yeah,
and I was like, whoa.
yeah. But something with PayPal wasn't working. Just kept like hanging and hanging and hanging.
I wonder if
So,
it's actually a free class. That's the first time I've ever done it with a registration form. So maybe it's just like, what?
oh,
So I don't know. Thank you so much for staying up to join us at that time. Like, you are
oh,
super.
thank you.
I try to keep myself up for, like, I love meteor showers. Like, it's one of my favorite things to do in the summer is to, like, watch a good meteor shower. But I cannot make myself stay up. Like, then I have to set an alarm, and then the alarm goes off, and I'm like, I sometimes can't even make myself get up. So thank you. That's very impressive to me that you were able to stay awake to do the class. So, super cool.
Yeah, so I'm all nice and relaxed now for bed. So thank you very much. And thank you for your patience with me trying to figure out. I'm working off of an iPad for this class, and it not really working for me at the moment. But yeah, but thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Nancy, how about you? How are you feeling? This was Nancy's first experience ever with somatics. Hang on, I'm going to ask you to unmute too.
Hello. I enjoyed it. Oh, it was wonderful. Yes, when we started, my right shoulder blade was quite off the floor. And by the end, I couldn't believe the difference. And same thing with my lower back. And I felt very long at the end. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the introductory program starting tomorrow. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Thank you for reminding me about that. So yeah, I have a series of 6 classes that's starting tomorrow. I'm doing intro. So everything, actually, there's 2 things I should tell you guys. We didn't actually do the entire cat stretch today. We did a little more than half, probably, of the actual whole cat stretch. Because I knew there were a few of you that were brand new today, I didn't want to rush through the movements. But the classes that I'm starting tomorrow, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 2 weeks. And I will be taking more time in the movements that we did today and really breaking them down and making sure that you have them properly in your own body, and possibly moving through more of the cat stretch. So that starts tomorrow. The link is on my website. If you can't join the live times, you'll get a recording link afterwards. The Monday, Friday classes are in the mornings, and the Wednesday classes in the evening. So yeah.
I'm not going to be able to join any of them live because I have my physio tomorrow morning and Friday, and then I have my grandson Wednesday night. So I'm going to have to do the
on recording.
Okay, perfect.
Make sure though, if you do have any questions, because I won't be seeing you live, email me if you have a question.
Okay.
About
Okay, perfect. I thank you again.
You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes, you too.
Anybody else have any questions or feedback? Anything they want to share? No? Reagan, how are you today? I see your camera's off. Oh, Danelle, did you have something to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One question. When it comes to like, if you have one side that is always due to a neurological thing, kind of like tightened, in your own personal practice, would you actually do maybe the exercises more on that one side to try and get a little bit more release? Or would you keep it even?
That's a really great question, because you know that very like even Stevens, right? Like, if you do 3 on this side, you've got to do 3 on that side. But in my own body, so first of all, the side that's chronically more tight is the side I would always start with.
Mhm.
So even if you're doing a class and with me and I'm leading and I'm starting right, but you know it's your left, maybe you want to switch it and start with your left. Do remember though that can be confusing if you're listening to someone saying the opposite words. But if I were doing it in my own body, yeah, I would start with the side that's tighter, and I might do more, but I'd start even. So I would do like 3 on that tighter side, 3 on this side, check in. And if I feel tighter on this side again, then I am going to do a couple more repetitions on that tight side.
Cool. I just wondered if yeah, because in the practice today, of course, I noticed my left side was tighter, and then by the end of the practice, my right was like puddle, completely relaxed. I had gotten a couple degrees or percent less on the left, but I was like, could I gotten more if I had like done like left, right, few more left, and then maybe even got it a few degrees if that would actually happen. So that's cool. I'm going to try that in my own personal.
Perfect. Good question. Thanks.
Thank you very much, though. That was awesome.
You're welcome. Another thing I'll quickly mention to you guys, I'm launching I'm opening and launching the registration for my Costa Rica retreats today. So if you know anybody who's looking for a somatic retreat in Costa Rica, I have some coming up. It's going to be amazing. I guess if you live in Australia, maybe it's not as exciting as it will be for us who are here in Canada and really want to get the hell out of here in the winter.
Costa Rica does sound exciting. It's just so far away from us.
Yeah, like I think
It's the
you're
only unfortunate.
first of all the countries, I'm pretty sure, is Australia from where we are. And Costa Rica, even from here, well, it's not too bad from here. I think it's like 7 hours or something.
Oh, that's not bad.
No,
Yeah.
not nearly as far as going to Australia.
Yes, that's a very long ride. I think our closest, holiday